All right, guys, welcome back to Helms and Hoops. We got the full crew back on this episode, and we're going to be talking about some fantasy players who are going to be at the net, or we're going to project some fantasy players to be at the top of their position this year to make that unexpected jump. Let's see. And they're all random players, so there's no restriction by position. Like, we didn't do restriction by position. We just have 12 players for each person.
They're all random players.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. They know what I mean. Our fans have some common sense. I know.
Yeah, true.
All right.
Too bad.
What?
Go ahead. Sorry. I was going to make another joke. Go.
You want to keep talking shit? All right. Anyway. All right. My first guy is Chris Godwin. You saw what he did last year with Jameis Winston. Even at the beginning of the year, he was sissy the whole year, and if he wasn't hurt from the end of the year, he would have done even better. He ended up with 120 targets from Jameis, 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, and yeah, that's good numbers when you have Mike Evans alongside of you.
So wait, hold on. Did we tell the fans that we are picking players that could finish number 1 at the position, not top 12, like a round 1 pick?
True.
Just making sure. Sorry, I'm still awake. I'm waking up, guys.
I did say that in the intro.
Yeah. So
okay.
If you were paying attention.
Guys to pick, like, basically dark horses to finish number 1 at the position.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
The next Lamar Jackson, the next David Johnson from 2018.
Yeah, I think Chris Godwin is a beast with Brady. You see how he is with those type of receivers, like he is with Edelman, and with Godwin, he's even more athletic than Edelman. Than Edelman. He's taller than Edelman. I just can't. All right, they're about the same height, but still, I just can't wait to see. With Brady, I really can't. I'm so excited for it, and even though I used to be such a Brady hater, I don't know. I kind of like switched my mindset this year.
Yeah.
I guess I realize I'm more of a Patriots hater than I am a Brady hater.
Oh no, I'm definitely a Brady hater. Question then. When you're saying, I mean, I get what you're saying with the Tom Brady. Sorry, still waking up. I get what you're saying with Tom Brady, where he likes to use the slot receiver, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, guys like that, of that ilk. But when we're talking about the Tom Brady favoring slot receivers, do you think that's a Tom Brady thing, or do you think that might be a Patriots thing? We don't really have much data at all of quarterbacks besides Tom Brady.
I think it's Patriots. I mean, I think it's a Tom Brady thing because he would only work out with Edelman in the offseason. He wasn't working out with other receivers on that team. Him and Edelman were always doing offseason workouts every year.
I don't know.
And then Gronk too. But they were always on Instagram doing workouts together, just them two. So you can tell that he favored him. Maybe it could be a personal relationship favor and not really a football thing, and then he made it into a football relationship. I don't know. But
I mean, I've seen all the workouts and things like that, but that might have just been more of a result of they didn't have a solid outside receiver. Besides Randy Moss for those 2 years, he really hasn't had too many guys on the outside. All the guys that had success have been the slot guys. Wes Welker, like I said before, Edelman. Brandon Lloyd was more of a slot. He went outside, but he was more of a slot guy to me. Smaller, quick twitch guy. So I don't know if it's necessarily that is his favorite. This is just playing devil's advocate, obviously. I don't know if the slot is his favorite, but it might just be a personnel thing where he didn't have anything else, so he worked with what he got, which was slot receivers.
Well, I mean, if you look at Brady, he loves to check down as well. He doesn't have that far of an arm. So slots is perfect for him. He doesn't have, like, that strong an arm. He's, 43 now? 42, 43? He's not going to be able to throw that far.
65.
He's not the same age that he was in 2007 with Randy Moss.
I mean,
he's not going to have that Mike Evans won't beat Randy Moss. He will not be.
I'm not saying that I can't see it happening. I was just playing devil's advocate, playing the other side. And I could definitely see him finishing at number 1. My whole thing is, when we're talking about the dark horses, I wanted to, like, for my guys, I picked guys that were round 4 and later, because that's when you really got real value out of these guys. When you drafted Patrick Mahomes in the 8th, 9th round 2 years ago, Lamar Jackson around that same or later, and then you got number 1 overall talent out of it.
All right, so then who's your first guy then?
My first guy, I went with Evan Engram. I think
Okay.
Evan Engram is poised to have a great year. The biggest knock and the only real knock I think you have on him is injuries, which is kind of important for only a 16-game season. He never can finish it. At the beginning of last year, the first 5 games, he averaged about 23 points a game in PPR scoring leagues because, I mean, they don't really have a ton of dominant options. They have Golden Tates. They have Darius Slayton, who emerged later on in the year. Saquon's obviously there. But if Evan Engram is the 2 or the 3, second or third option in that offense, I want a piece of that because their defense isn't very good. They're going to have to throw to stay in games. And I don't expect Darius Slayton and Golden Tate to really take away, Sterling Shepard to really take away from Evan Engram enough for him not to be successful. Because to be a tight end, all you really need is 50, 60 yards, maybe a touchdown. And that should be easy for Evan Engram off 2-3 catches, potentially because of his speed. Again, his biggest knock is injury.
So for me, play devil's advocate for you is how about the Giants drafting all these old linemen to shift to more of a run game and with Saquon?
I don't know if it necessarily is a run game. I think that this might need offensive line help in order to keep Daniel Jones upright because on a 16 – he didn't play the entire year, but on a 16-game pace, he would have fumbled it 22 times if you extrapolated that.
Yeah,
So
I do agree with that. He was terrible with fumbles. And I don't know if that was him or his line. I mean, his line wasn't the best, but I watched a lot of the games, and he was just it was him.
He's averaging about 1.5 a game, so that's something that he needs to shore up, and I think an offensive line will help him do that.
But I don't know. With Saquon, you gotta feed him.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
gotta feed Saquon, and then the receivers you named are not bad receivers. Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard. They're not bad receivers at all.
I'm not saying they're bad.
I actually like those receivers, to be honest, and I would put that receiving core in the top half of the league, to be honest. And it's not saying that much, but like still, I would put them in the top half. It's not like they're slouches and saying that Evan Engram being the only guy getting touches.
Oh, absolutely not. But I'm saying that there's no one dominant enough to take away touches that we're going to take away. I just expect maybe 7-8 targets for Evan Engram next year on average. So I can easily see that being a little less. But I think that because of the type of player it is, all he really needs is one catch, broken tackle, and then he's gone. He's not a prototype. Go ahead.
Sorry. Do you know his average catches last year?
Well, it's difficult because he didn't play the entire season because of injury.
Okay, so how many games did he miss, and what was his average catches per game still? Because that doesn't matter with injuries.
He started 6 games. He played in 8 games total, so kind of injury on and off.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, but this is what we're talking about. We're talking about dark horses. We're talking about who we think that can really surprise us this year and come out of nowhere and finish number 1 at the position. So last year, when we were talking about Evan Engram, he had 68 targets in those 8-ish games.
Yeah.
So that would come out to be about, 8.5 targets a game.
Okay, so about what you expected.
So, and there's also another caveat. I'm not going to pretend it's all rosy and things like that because they had Saquon injured for part of those games. So that takes away kind of a big part of the offense. But I just believe in the talent, and I can see, especially at the tight end position, where it's if you don't have one of those top guys, those sure guys, you're kind of grasping at straws. Then I want a guy that can potentially, because you're getting him drafted as the tight end 5 or 6. And I think that once you're at that range of tight ends or range of the position, then you can kind of go in any direction and then hope that you got one that can knock it out of the park. And Evan Engram can do that every 2 to 3 weeks for you. And that's all you need.
So if someone knocks out of the park every 2-3 weeks, you think that's going to be the number 1 player in the position?
Every 2 to 3 weeks, not just 2 to 3 weeks.
I don't know, man. I think George Kittle's doing that every night.
I don't know. George Kittle is on a team that likes to run a lot, so it's not uncommon for them to game plan him out. And he's a great blocker.
He's still balled out with that run game, but I do agree with a lot of your points. I just want to play devil's advocate as well.
Mateo, you're not playing devil or angel. What's happening here? What are you thinking?
You guys are taking the words right out of my mouth. Like as soon as I'm about to talk, somebody brings up something that I was going to say. So I'm fine. I'm quiet back here. I'm going to just say my next guy here.
All right, go ahead.
All right. So the only legit player that we're going to be talking about so far is my guy, Austin Eckler. Remember the name. I'm going to get that name tattooed on me. I'm going to actually get it tattooed on me. Austin Eckler, number 1 running back 2020. Okay, here we go. This guy finished running back 4 and had 500 rushing yards. Okay. That's absolutely amazing, because the fact that he finished running back 4 with like 500 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns is amazing. And which basically means that he's a receiver in that offense. All of his fantasy production was coming from catching the ball, and that's only because Melvin Ingram was there to take away his rushes. And I don't believe all these rumors or predictions that Justin Jackson and who'd they draft? Kelly will take away the significant chunk of rushing volume. Eckler rushed 132 times last year. I can see that bumping up to around 200, but I don't see how Jackson and Kelly's going to take away more than 50 to 60 carries each. And Austin Eckler would have finished like running back 1, not run, because hold on, let me do the math. McCaffrey would have blown him out of the water still, but running back 2 by far and away by like 70 points or 80 points if he just ran the ball like 50 more times based on his running average and everything like that. And I feel like the offense is going to, with Tyrod Taylor, the offense is going to be built around him even more than last year, because even though Phillip Rivers' arm strength was obviously going down and down each year, Tyrod Taylor has a noodle arm. I mean, he could throw the ball deep, but he's very, very inaccurate when he goes past like 20 yards. And do you know what Austin Eckler's average depth of reception is, or yards per reception?
No, but I assume you looked it up.
No, let me just, obviously. It was 11 yards. Just to give you a little example, that is higher than Stephon Diggs' average in 80% of his seasons.
Wait, you said his average catch, or I'm sorry, average yard per catch was 11?
10.8.
Well, no, that's so ridiculous. Like, that's wild. How many catches did he have? He had like a lot of catches.
90. Right? He has 93.
Yeah.
No, 92. Sorry, 92. But God, dang it, I lost track. But I was going to say, just to give you comparison, Stephon Diggs has only averaged over that twice in his career. So he's not just the dump off, the classic running back dump off the safety valve. They're actually incorporating him into the offense, running routes and everything like that. So he's only going to get better this next year. There's no way he can get worse, I feel like. So his 4, I feel like, should be running back 5 or 6. Like, I would take him over. I think I brought this up before. Like, I'd take him over guys like Dalvin Cook or Alvin Kamara right now, without a doubt.
I would probably agree with you. I would
Cook's hurt all the time. Kamara sucks now.
Relax with that. Relax with the but I don't think he starts. It's just he just isn't as productive without Mr. Engram in his backfield with him. But he's still a beast.
Oh yeah, he's horrible. Yeah,
horrible. Jeez, that's all I said at all.
Just go into Kamara. Like, the only thing that's see, what I don't understand. I'm getting off on a little tangent here about Kamara. What has he done that other running backs don't do? He's below average runner. He only has 80 catches. That's the only reason he gets fantasy production. 500 receiving yards. If you drop those catches to 50, he's running back like 50.
So question: 13, what happens 14. If you drop Austin Eckler's many catches down to 50?
The running goes up.
Why doesn't Kamara's running go up?
Because they don't use him that way.
They don't use Eckler that way. They're the same type of production for both players.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's all reception.
LA Austin Eckler is the number 1 and the only rusher there.
Kamara's the
New Orleans,
number 1.
No, he's not. Latavius Murray is the guy they run the ball with. And yeah, in New Orleans, they have another back who's literally they take Kamara out for it to put in when they run the ball.
Yeah, but they did that for Eckler last year.
Because that's what I'm saying. Because they had him, they had Gordon. Now they don't have Gordon. So they don't have anybody to run the ball.
Who's to say that Justin Jackson or Josh Kelly doesn't get those touches?
You're right, Sean.
You think they're going to just transfer everything?
No, that's why I said 50, 60 carries each, and he gets around 200. That'd be amazing.
True. I'm just having trouble we
need to make a bet right now or something.
The only problem I have with Eckler is I don't consider him a dark horse. I just feel like he's gonna be a top 5 running back. He's gonna be picked in the first round, so I don't really consider a first round.
Well, he's gonna be a top 5. I'll bet you all my salaries for all my houses. But the running back one is who I feel like would be the dark horse because of Christian freaking McCaffrey and Barkley.
Then if you pick anyone besides McCaffrey or Barkley, then you could technically call it a dark horse. I'd say Dalvin Cook's a dark horse.
Exactly. You could.
I don't know if that's really a dark horse. It's kind of just like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm the only one who's high on Austin Eckler that I've seen. He's still running like 16 in everywhere else I'm seeing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
whoa, 16?
I feel like you guys are hearing about him and liking him because I'm the only one talking about him.
No, I love Eckler. I loved him last. I loved him for the last like 3 years. It just I just never really drafted him because of Melvin Gordon there.
Yeah, I didn't like having the 1-2 punch.
And that's literally why I didn't draft Melvin Gordon either, on the flip side.
Eckler currently being drafted as the 10th off the board.
10th PPR running back off the board?
PPR, yeah. But it's 205, fifth pick of the second round.
Gross. Like, I would take Eckler above probably Cook, Henry, Mixon, and Drake. I might give you a Kamara there, but I'd be tempted. I would do it over
Henry. I'm not a big fan of the guys who can get scripted out.
I'm not a fan of Henry at all.
Yeah. What's not finding surprising that they're going to give him the ball a ton.
In fantasy.
Oh my God, he's gonna get 120 targets this year too. They're not gonna stop throwing him the ball because Tyrod Taylor. Don't even get me started.
You know what? I think we should do an episode on running backs. They're so deep. They're so deep.
No.
Yeah. I think wide receiver is deeper this year, though.
Now that I'm the only one who knows about fantasy football, but
there it is.
That's it. But that was my Austin Eckler love.
Yeah.
So.
I do have a little trouble picturing what their offense will look like.
So do I.
Tyrod Taylor's fine. They have good receivers. They have a great defense. So I don't know if they're going to try to play ball control.
They upgraded the offensive line a lot too. So I just feel like everything that they're doing is solidifying Austin Eckler's role in the offense. Buffalo, Tyrod Taylor did the same exact thing. All he did was hit these underneath routes, the slot receivers, tight ends, running back dump offs. I just feel like they have a good offensive line now. Tyrod Taylor, everything I'm reading into this is Austin Eckler blows up 23 points every single game or something crazy.
And then Tyrod Taylor unfortunately just hurt, and Justin Herbert just slinging
in just slinging 40 yards down the field every play. That would be my luck.
Yeah, that would be terrible. I would never wish that on anyone.
But yeah, that's my guy. Move on to your whoever's next. Haytham.
Hold on. I gotta bring this up. Mark Andrews.
Okay.
Mark Andrews.
Mark.
Even though it's Lamar Jackson's jersey. But
no one's watching this on YouTube.
Why are you like this?
It's true.
It's like, hold on. I was like, what's he doing?
Yeah.
That is my guy. Mark Andrews. I think, especially with the addition of J.K. Dobbins, it gives defenses more to it. You can't game plan the same against this like you did last year. We have a different dynamic to our offense now. And with the Ravens getting rid of Hayden Hurst, I can tell they're saying Mark Andrews is our guy. He's the person we're feeding the ball to, and I cannot wait for that connection again. He's definitely gonna be a Pro Bowl this year, and I think he's gonna be the best tight end this year. And he won't be the top 3 pick in tight ends. You're not gonna get him over Kelsey and Kittle for sure. Maybe you might get him over Ertz, but he still. I think he's gonna outperform all of them. The only person who I think might be better is Chelsea, and he's only. I think he will. I think Kittle. I don't know. I feel he's gonna get hurt this year. Seems like he played. Yeah, he played a lot through. He played through a lot of injuries last year, and playing through injuries it looks tough and all that, but it's not good for your durability for your career.
So, are you expecting similar production to last year? Or are you expecting Mark Andrews to take a step up?
Oh yeah.
So, how many targets would you think that he would get over let's say 15 games, assuming because they played 15 last year since they had the first seed locked up. So what would you assume over 15 games? Just give it average, and then we can do the math, obviously.
So let's see. Last year he had 98 targets. I think he's going to get close to like 110. Maybe 115, and 120 is going to be his like cap.
So do you think – well, my whole thing is the Ravens didn't really throw the ball very much last year compared to other teams. Mark Andrews was their lead receiver at 98 targets. Next was Marquise Brown, who had 71, and he didn't even play the entire year. He missed a game or two. So if Marquise Brown, unless you expect them to be their defense to be worse, and take a step back, or they're not to be as efficient as runners, then I can see I don't see how they get more passing volume from that.
I see teams game plan to our run game and our offense. I think Lamar Jackson will be better as passer next year, so he's going to start passing more. He's had more time to prepare and develop his passing game. I don't see Lamar Jackson being a worse passer than he was last year. So that's what I'm saying.
I just don't. I guess I could see in the mindset that if they don't catch everyone off guard this year, everyone's game planning, they'll be slowed down a little bit, so they'll have to throw it a little bit more, because instead of getting these 40-yard chunk plays, they'll have to get to that 40 yards through 5 or 6 plays. So I could see that going up and making Mark Andrews more valuable as a fantasy asset.
Yeah, and then it'll be, instead of like these long touchdowns, it'd be us being in the red zone, and then who you're going to throw to in the red zone? Marky Mark.
Does anyone call him that?
No, I just did. But yeah. Any rebuttals, Matt? Or any rebuttals?
I just love. See, basically, in their offense, I feel like Mark Andrews is game plan proof. So if you can't stop the run, basically, the coach and me again here, I'm thinking about like game planning and things like that. You can game plan for somebody like that all you want, but if you can't stop the run, it's all power read, misdirections and everything, someone's always going to be out of place, whether it's a linebacker who's falling or dropping out of coverage when he should be in coverage because of the play action in the backfield. I just feel like there's not – maybe the rushing game in general will be stopped a little easier than last year, but I don't think that's going to take away what Mark Andrews does, because you're always going to have those 8 guys in the box. And if Mark Andrews breaks out of the box, either Lamar Jackson is going to be gone or Andrews is going to get the ball, just like last year. So I don't know. I could see more of like Engram not having as good of a year and the actual running backs in general, but I feel like Mark Andrews is going to be game plan proof just based on the deception and everything of that offense. But I don't know.
Thank you for your unbiased Cleveland insight. I appreciate it.
My wife's from Baltimore, so I have to have number 2.
And you just discredited what I just said. But no. But yeah, who's your second guy, Sean?
All right, I'm going to go into my running back. I think James Conner is poised for a big year and potentially a number 1 overall year. We know that Pittsburgh has a tendency to use one running back, and I don't think that anyone is in the Pittsburgh backfield currently that's going to take away from James Conner. 2 years ago, when Le'Veon Bell,
it's the most running back talent they've had since Conner was there.
Absolutely true. Well,
I know Bell, I would say, but I mean Snell, Samuels, they showed they loved. But I feel like, I agree, Connor. If he stays healthy, he should have the year.
I mean, they drafted Anthony McFarland, I think, in the 4th round. Jalen Samuels, to me, is more of a receiver, tight end, hybrid, however they use them. And even in Yahoo leagues, they had him designated as a running back tight end, which was killer for whoever used him that week.
Yeah. They should make him a tight end, I feel like.
Yeah, just the way kind of an H-back type is the way Pittsburgh used him. It was a little different. But I think the biggest knock on Connor is going to be with Evan Engram and both of my guys so far, is injury. 2 years ago, he blew the world away, caught everyone off guard. You could draft him in the 10th round later because everyone expected Le'Veon to come back. He never came back. James Conner had the rock the entire year, and a lot of people wrote him to a fantasy championship. So I think that is going a better expectation of what to expect from James Conner. Big Ben wasn't there starting after week 1. So I don't think you can judge Conner off of last year's offense when they had Duck Hodges, and whoever got hit in the head with the helmet. I forget his name. Mason Rudolph.
Right.
I don't think that you can really base his production off that offense last year. And he was fine-ish last year at times. He was definitely inconsistent. And one of the real issues was when he came back early that one game and then went out immediately. So he gave you a goose egg. So that was fun. But yeah, I don't know if you guys feel differently. I just feel as though James Conner is poised to have a big year and potentially number 1.
I don't think he's anywhere close to number 1. Big year, sure, but as we were saying earlier with how deep running backs are, there's no way he's going to be ahead of CMC, ahead of Eckler, even ahead of Zeke, ahead of Saquon. Like, do you really think he's going to be ahead of them?
I don't know if I'm not – well, this is dark horses. This is not who we're saying is going to. It's who we could see a path to getting there. So that's the path I see. I think that he's just going to get unlimited opportunities in that Pittsburgh offense.
I mean, what about Juju? You haven't mentioned him not once in this. You think he's going to just lose his part of the offense?
There's no reason why he has to lose anything. Every offense doesn't just have one valuable fantasy option. So look at Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara. 2 years ago, they were both able to coincide and be top 5.
And don't forget about the addition of my man Eric Ebron too.
Eric Ebron is just a guy.
He's just a man.
Just a guy.
He's a jag.
He's immortal.
Yeah, he's not. I'm not really concerned about Eric Ebron and what he's going to mean to the offense. They still need to run the ball. They're still going to run the ball 250 plus times, I plan, with James Conner. And then they don't throw the ball really to anyone else. It's going to be him and Jalen Samuel second. So as long as he gets 50, 60, 70 targets, comes out at maybe 50 yards, I think that makes – it just depends on what he does with that.
So his year where he had a great year, how many targets did he have that year?
I have the 19 stats. I don't have the 18 up. But I'm sure he had a ton.
I can look it real quick.
So someone fill in the time while I look this up.
The only thing that's kind of scares me, I think I'm overthinking the injuries how I usually do. But, like, all the beat writers and everything that's coming out of Pittsburgh right now are talking about how much they love Anthony McFarland.
71 targets, by the way.
Maryland. Oh. He is really good, but that's not the most, I guess. But that situation, but it could just be the preseason hype and all that crap that usually happens. And Benny Snell played well. But I feel like as long as Connor is healthy, he'll hold them off, obviously. They won't have like a 50-50 share running back by committee unless Connor actually starts.
There's another factor. Well, another factor is, I mean, this is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They were known to use up Le'Veon before his contract and then they pay him what they and this is Connor's contract year. So why would I'm just assuming they're going to do something similar. They're going to use.
They don't care. Yeah.
Right. They're going to use him up. And then after that, we'll see what happens. So,
I agree. Yeah,
checks out. I'm not mad at it. Like you said, like I think he is poised to have a great year. I just don't know if he's going to be even in
that top, great. Yeah,
even in the top 7 running backs. I don't think he'll end up.
again, this is guys. These are dark horses. These aren't the guys we say are going to. This is the guys that we say that you can get late, and potentially they could be these guys because no one's going like before Patrick Mahomes did it. No one said I can see him being the number one.
I think David Johnson will be picked before, or I think David Johnson will be better than James Conner this year, and I think he'd be picked after James Conner.
To be number one in PPR leagues, you need to have a sufficient amount of passing work for a running back. So you need to have it on the ground and in the air. Houston's offensive line is better than it was last year with the addition of Laramie Tunsil and things like that. But so David Johnson can get it on the ground to whatever degree. But they'll still have Duke Johnson there. We don't know exactly what they're planning to do with their offensive scheme.
That's a good point because Duke Johnson is a pass catching back, so that's a good point.
And they traded for Duke Johnson, so it shows that Bill O'Brien wants him there, and he is the coach / GM.
I mean, that shows that he's also an idiot, Bill O'Brien.
So
he's not a very smart GM, as you see.
I mean, last year Duke Johnson got 62 targets, so and Carlos Hyde only had 16.
Is
Hyde really a pass catching back though?
Not a pass catcher.
See that's a good thing. Okay, Haytham, I don't know if this is talked about enough in like the fantasy community as far as Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde used to be a receiving back. Like the first few seasons he was in the NFL, like in San Francisco, they used to throw the ball to him all the time. But everywhere he goes now, they don't throw him the ball, and I don't know why. Like his catch percentage was high. I'm just going off on a tangent because I like Carlos Hyde. I just don't know why they don't throw that guy the ball.
Yeah, he's definitely capable.
Maybe it's just they see him as a big Bruce running back. Like, all right, that's all we want you to do. We don't want you to
probably
catch
He's not even that big. He's like 5'11", 205 or 205 to 220 something. Like normal running back size. He's not Derrick Henry running around out there.
Well, I mean, no one's Derrick Henry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right.
My last guy is Darren I don't know. Okay, Darren Waller. I was trying to think of a clever nickname that wasn't already used. All right, Darren Waller.
The Walrus.
He finished. It's insane. This was his first full season as a tight end in the NFL. He finished tight end number 3 in what a lot of people would see as a horrible offense in Oakland. He was obviously Derek Carr's number 1 target. The guy, he's just a beast. I can't express enough how good of an athlete. He's 6'6", almost 260 pounds, runs a 4.45 40-yard dash. He is the equivalent of Megatron at the tight end position. He was double-teamed all last year with linebackers and strong safeties. And he would just demolish them. He'd catch the ball, stiff arm some dude, be like 14 yards down the field before he could even blink an eye. And I feel like them adding all of these other receivers like Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, even Aguilar, that doesn't hurt him. That helps him. That takes the pressure off these underneath routes. Henry Ruggs and these receivers are going to take the top off the defense. Teams are going to have no choice but to only either guard him, number 1, with one guy like every other tight end in the NFL, and number 2, they're only going to have 2 players in the middle of the field. It might be the middle linebacker or the free safety because the weak side linebacker and the strong side linebackers are going to have to covering somebody.
So, devil's advocate.
Yes.
Hunter Renfrow, rookie of last year, he works that same area of the field as Darren Waller. So if we're looking at game logs from last year, so I'm ignoring the first part of the season because rookies got to get acclimated, so on and so forth.
I'll allow it, but yeah.
If you're looking at Hunter Renfrow from week 8 on, and he got injured in week 12, so you got to cut it off there. But just in catches for Hunter Renfrow, he had 4, 6, 4, 5, 3. So involved in those same game where Hunter Renfrow was being used week 8 on. Waller's catches were 2, 2, 3, 5, 3. So, what say you, Mateo?
Number one, basically, what I'm going to say is the name of a young man named Josh Jacobs. The first half of the year, I will admit, though, the first half of the year, Darren Waller was the only dude that they used. But the second half of the year, he was still obviously out there, but he wasn't getting the targets that he was usually getting. And I'll agree with you with the Hunter Renfrow argument that he kind of occupies the same part of the field, but doesn't. Renfrow is more of the hashes out, like that short, anywhere within like 10 yards from the hashes out. And Darren Waller is more the middle of the field guy. But the second half of the year is when Josh Jacobs turned on. So they were running the ball a lot more as well, a lot more efficiently.
I would challenge you on that notion that Hunter Renfrow was playing more outside of the hashes. I mean, he's the prototypical slot receiver, small, white receiver.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I was waiting for you to say it. I knew you were going to say it, Sean. I swear. I was like, right when we started studying, I was waiting for him to say the word white.
Well, I mean,
I actually really like Hunter Renfrow.
I like him as a player. That's why I'm advocating. He's a good.
I have Hunter Renfrow everywhere.
I'm not gonna lie, watching Hard Knocks last year made me like see. I was like, I think he's be a good player, and I kind of saw the flashes. I'm glad Oakland decided to keep him on the roster because they had a lot of receivers where they were like picking for him.
Yeah, probably.
What was?
Go ahead.
I'm trying to find Hunter Renfrow's.
Is what game log? I got it up if you want it.
Like basically like his depth per
target.
Yeah. Because I thought it was weird to me. I thought Waller had like more of depth than Renfrow, so it's almost like they used Renfrow in the area that they should have used the tight end in. But then again, that entire West Coast offense of John Gruden, which is kind of outdated, but it still works depending on you as a play caller. But everything is like 13, 14 yards and in. Just get the ball and run downfield as fast as you can. They don't take many deep shots, obviously, because ever since Derek Carr got hurt, they just don't trust him throwing the ball deep anymore. And he doesn't, for some weird reason. He'll have guys streaking down the field that gets 5 yards on the DB, and he still doesn't throw it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go on. No, you go.
So you said that Waller is Derek Carr's favorite target. What happens if Mariota takes over?
That's a good question.
Then again, it's not, because all Mariota does is throw to the tight end. Delaney Walker was his favorite target.
Good point, but
he threw it to Delaney Walker, but who else was there for him to catch the ball? Talk about Tarjay Sharp, Corey Davis,
I'm a Corey Davis lover.
Dorial Green Beckham.
Yeah, they had a bunch of no names there. So that was, I think, a lot of the time, people that are looking from the outside into these NFL teams like to say, like, oh, they're this type of quarterback. They throw it short. Derek Carr throws it short only. But when he was with Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree, he threw it deep. It just so happens that the injury happened the same time. So as soon as that injury happened, the next year they left. Oh, well, Amari was still there, but Crabtree left. So then you kind of label the player based on the personnel they had. That's what they do. Same argument I made for Tom Brady. He might have – I mean, he threw it deep those years with Randy Moss, but every other one he's dipping and dunking. It might just be they play to whoever they have on the field more so than that's the quarterback's preference. You're going to get it to your
guys that they have. Yeah, but like the guys they have weren't like slow dudes. They weren't like all slot receivers.
We're talking about the Patriots?
Like Tyrell Williams.
Oh, like the Raiders.
The argument against for like the Oakland Raiders. You could argue last year that I didn't know.
I didn't know which
you could argue last year that they had the personnel to go deep. Tyrell Williams. That's all Tyrell Williams does. And he gets open half the time. That's what I was talking about, where he's open 5 yards past the DB and Carr won't throw him the ball. He'll dunk it down to Waller.
Right, but Tyrell was drawing the number one coverage. So, and Tyrell, I don't think is suited to be a number one. They planned for AB to be that guy.
Yeah.
And after Tyrell, Hunter Renfrow was still getting acclimated. That's why Darren Waller got so much, because they had nowhere else to go. That's just the way I think of it. I don't think that these players are saying, like, oh, I only want to get slot receivers on my team because that's what I like to throw. They'll throw it to their good guys. It just depends on, who they are. I think they got in kind of a 1A, 1B situation with Ruggs and Tyrell. Hopefully they think Ruggs can develop into that legitimate number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just have a bunch of depth. Brian Edwards, Zay Jones, Marcel Aitman, guys like that.
Yeah. True. But here's a question for you real quick. Who would you like if you're in the 8th round right now, 7th or 8th round, and Ruggs and Renfro you had to pick one of them, who would you pick?
Ruggs, easy.
Ruggs.
You guys are fucking insane. I wouldn't touch Ruggs.
Damn.
The guy who's guaranteed 100 targets over somebody who's just going to run the ball downfield all day. You're insane. We have very different fantasy outlooks. I'm more of the guaranteed guy, maybe.
Well, I mean, I actually, you know, I told you I'm not one to get rookies. Yeah. I'm not one to get rookies because I like to see what they are in the NFL versus college and NFL, 2 different things. I need to see sample size. I need to see how you are. Just like even like 2 or 3 games in the NFL, see how you are.
But you've already drafted by that point.
I know. I'm just saying that's why I don't pick rookies. That's why I get sophomores. No, rookies. Period. I told you.
You don't take running backs.
It's very rare that I'll ever get a rookie.
Yeah.
Saquon was probably the first rookie running back that I've gotten in a while, and that was because his combine, and I knew that Giants were going to use him.
Barkley was just gods.
And even Zeke coming out of Ohio State 3 years before or 2, whatever it was.
At that point,
I was in the first round.
At that point, it was before the time when it was around the time when rookie running backs were getting picked high. You know.
You mean in the real life or in fantasy?
In real life. So I wasn't really sold at that point.
Well, I disagree with that because the year before they took Melvin Gordon 10th.
And how did Melvin Gordon do?
Bad that first year, but then the second year
exactly. And at that point you wouldn't know.
And who else they had? Todd Gurley, who had a fine year.
Todd Gurley had a good year, but he was hurt for the first half.
Yeah. And I know there's one other one. I can't remember who it was.
McCaffrey was the year the Zeke was drafted. Or was it at Fournette?
Yeah. No, I know that. I just can't remember who it was. But I
one person was what's his name? Trent Richardson. He balled out rookie year, but then what happened after?
True. I'll give you that.
But I'm not. At that point I wasn't sold on rookies and drafted high. Now I am.
Bottom line is Darren Waller is the best tight end in the NFL.
Whoa, what best tight end? Whoa,
just kidding. I would say he's probably one of the best receiving tight ends, even up there with Kelsey. And you'll see it this year. Okay, he's going to dominate. Let's go.
Dominate.
Yeah, I'm looking at draft information and just looking at first round running backs. I mean, if I extend it to 2, I'll get 2. But notable names before Trent Richardson that were drafted in the first round: Doug Martin. I don't believe he had a great first year.
Yeah,
no. David Wilson for the Giants. Mark Ingram for the Saints, which I don't think he had a very good year. That's when I think they had C.J. Spiller.
Yeah.
And,
but he definitely developed to be a great running back.
Absolutely. C.J. Spiller actually was Buffalo the year before.
Overrated.
Ryan Matthews, Javid Best.
I used to like Ryan Matthews, but
the names you're saying aren't that none of them relevant now besides Mark Ingram.
Well, you could go back to 2008, Darren McFadden. I think he had a good rookie year.
And then sucked.
Yeah,
and then he came back that one year. Who was he with the Raiders?
Yeah,
he was on the Raiders. And then he went to the Cowboys.
They had Rashad Jennings on the team that year.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I do see it more so now that maybe it's because of the way the NFL is. They're moving away from drafting this running back they want to keep on their team for 7-8 years, and they're just going to take a rookie, use them up, and then throw them away. So look, maybe now the rookie running backs are more valuable because of the NFL's shift in mindset to that.
That and also just these running backs are just different beasts nowadays. It's crazy how they are. Yeah. Zeke and Saquon and even Kamara. It's crazy that Kamara is running around at 230. He does not look like he's 230.
He's not 230.
He might be. I think.
Well, yeah. You think Alvin Kamara is 230 pounds from looking at that dude?
I look 215. Sorry, 215. But still, 215 is still ridiculous. For looking at him.
I think. Well, you're looking at him compared to other giant men. To be fair,
but I'm saying the way he his 215 is
The way he's
he's
built,
like distributed throughout his whole body, where his like legs, his arm, everything is just.
he looks like a normal dude.
I feel like that's also over exaggerated by like 15 pounds too.
I don't really see the need at that level to really like inflate. I'm sure there's some mental games and stuff like that, but once you get on the field, you don't remember how much they weigh.
Yeah, but I mean, him and Mark Ingram are the same weight, which is crazy to think about because Mark Ingram looks so much fucking more built.
Because Mark Ingram is like a toddler. Have you seen how short that dude is? He's like, basically like Doug Martin.
He's like 5'10".
He has like no neck. He has like no neck.
5'9"-ish, if that. Yeah.
He's not that small.
But you don't think he's 5'9" or under?
No.
He might be.
No. He's definitely 5'10" or up.
He is 5'9".
Yeah.
Close enough. Whatever. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, and I think it was Zeke is when I started thinking like, oh crap, you gotta start drafting these running backs in real NFL, like you gotta draft these running backs like ASAP.
Oh yeah, when you have a talent like that, I mean, and there are also those misses too because you got like the Sony Michels that have happened. I'm interested to see. I mean, Rashad Penny hasn't been a bust per se.
No, he's hurt. I don't think injury is part of being a bust.
So I mean, but if he keeps getting injured, then
no, I just probably being an injury prone player, not a bust.
Right,
a bust means you suck. Like you thought you were gonna be good, and you suck.
You're trash.
Kwame Brown, Trent Richardson,
Oh God.
Jamarcus Russell. Those are busts.
What a bust, Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell.
God.
Gross.
Ugh.
It must. Anyways.
Matt Leinart.
Just as one last little hurrah before we close this out. So the only first round running back we had this year was Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of LSU, obviously to the Chiefs. Great offense, great opportunity to have a lot of points. So how do you guys feel about him? I'm still trying to figure it out.
He is probably the only. I'm trying to think of rookie running backs I would draft. He's definitely one of them that I would draft. Another one is Dobbins. I'm just home cooking with that one. Not gonna lie.
Oh God, yeah, Dobbins.
And Keyshawn Vaughn, and maybe
naming all the rookie running backs.
Maybe I'm gonna go through like the list. Yeah,
I told you like running backs are different.
Swift too, yeah.
Possibly Taylor.
I wouldn't either because of and Cameron and Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson is. Oh, go ahead.
I would say like I don't like Edwards-Helaire as like the running back, like the talented running back. Like he's just Darren Sproulsy, running back by committee with Damian Williams. I just don't like. They should have picked like Jonathan Taylor, like a workhorse dude. I
would get him because how you said that. What's his name?
Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes is like
wanted him.
I want this guy. So like, if Mahomes wants that guy, then he's gonna feed him, obviously, And Mahomes he has the power of the offense, of course, and that's a reason why I would pick him. I told you Dobbins is home cooking, that's why I would pick him, and obviously mixed with how good he is of a back and with our system,
Yeah, no.
I like Keyshawn Vaughn just simply because I hate Ronald Jones more than any other player in the NFL.
Why do you hate him so bad?
And I think
every time we speak
bad.
about him, you just trash.
He's so bad. And the only reason he played is because they had to use him because they had nobody else that could do anything with their life. But Keyshawn Vaughn could throw the ball. Keyshawn Vaughn could catch the ball, can pass block better than Ronald Jones. Like right out the gate, he is a better running back than Ronald Jones. I just feel like the opportunity Ronald Jones may get 60% of the work in the beginning, but I think Vaughn could just start taking over after weeks 4 or 5, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I should be in this episode. Rookie running backs.
Second half running backs, the next Miles Sanders, basically.
Yeah. But anyway, that's our episode for this one. Glad you guys tuned in. We went on a couple fun tangents there, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all in the game. But all right, we're catching next time. It's been Haytham Hassan, Sean Samlal, and Matt Wilson. Helps and hoops.
Bye.
All right, see you later.